Hello, Paul Scheele here to share with you some ideas about self-healing with the paraliminal called joy. Now, joy is one of the essential human emotions associated with the Chinese philosophy of the five elements healing. And joy specifically is the energy of the heart. Research is in, it's absolutely the case that positive emotions have a significant impact in the prognosis of any particular illness that may be happening. And if a person's going into surgery, if they have a positive emotion going in, their surgery goes better, the healing is improved afterwards. Post-surgery, there's a reduction in time that it takes for healing to take place. And just on an ongoing basis, positive emotions help to keep us in a very strong and resilient state to be able to avoid illnesses on an ongoing basis. Now, joy, because it is the emotion of the heart, and Master Chunyi Lin with Spring Force Qigong always talks about the heart energy as being such a key player in everything that has to do with health and healing. I want to help you understand that joy is also an energy of passion. So what you're most passionate about, if you can stay in your passion, you're also going to be much more effective at generating that heartfelt, joyous energy that will help you in your self-healing. Now, there are two stories I'd like to share with you. One of them I wrote about in my book, Natural Brilliance. It's a story of Andrea Fishers, who woke up after being 3 months in a coma and discovered that she was in an iron lung. When she woke, the medical team said that she had been in a terrible automobile accident that pulverized her spinal column and severed her spinal cord. And so she was paralyzed from the neck down. And this was as good as it was going to ever get. And then her husband came up to her and said, "I can't take this. I need a divorce." So you can imagine the kind of scenario that that would create for terrible emotional response. Obviously, she had no choice but to move forward. If she was going to live, she said, "I am going to walk again someday." Now, people don't regenerate their spinal column, so the likelihood, or spinal cord, so the likelihood of her ever walking again was zero. And no neurologist would give her any kind of a chance of that. But what she did, took her a few weeks to get on board with it, but once she did, she devoted all of her waking time to doing everything that she had been taught about meditating, visualizing the ideal end result that she would create. And she literally worked 8 to 10 hours a day, mentally rehearsing and training her body to be able to walk again. Within a year, she was off of the respirator. It was medically impossible that that could have occurred. 3 years, almost to the date of the accident, she awoke in the middle of the night and realized any last vestige of doubt was removed from her mind. And she got up. She stood next to her bed. Now, 3 years of atrophying muscles, she didn't have the muscle strength to hold herself up, so she collapsed to the floor. But it was a miracle that that happened. So they worked in earnest, and almost 7.5 years after the accident, she walked out of the hospital. Now, I met her after that. So when she told the story, it was amazing to me. And there were medical researchers, neurological specialists from all over the world that came to study her case. And their conclusion was, we've got no explanation, it's a miracle. And Andrea insisted, she said, look, everything's a miracle. Your heartbeat is a miracle. Your breathing's a miracle. But I can tell you everything that I did every single day in order for this miracle to take place. Why won't you listen? Her neurologist was so blown away by what he witnessed, knowing that nothing in his medical training could prepare him for what he saw. He left medicine and started studying complementary and alternative approaches. Now, there were a lot of things that she did. She had chiropractic adjustments. She had a whole foods diet brought into the hospital, which was really quite an effort. She meditated, she visualized, she had massage therapy come in. Even though she couldn't feel anything from the neck down, they did massage therapy, and she would visualize what was happening and started to reconnect. They installed a couple of rods in her back because she had no spinal column. She had these metal rods, stainless steel rods placed in her back, but she regenerated, reconnected her nervous system. Impossible, right? But I was a platform speaker with her at the Unity Church, and she came to a number of programs that I taught. I had her speak in front of thousands of people on the stage with me because her story was so remarkable. What's possible? But I can tell you that her passion for walking again, her passion for all of the things that she was doing, and a willingness to dismiss anything, any negative emotion from her body besides peace, joy, happiness, gratefulness, contentment, all of the positive emotions that could make a difference. And joy was absolutely at the core of her being. Now, I've got another story for you. I received a call from my brother that my sister had a cancer. It was a stage 3B. It was a lung cancer, non-small cell carcinoma. And the tumor was located very close to her aorta, so they couldn't do surgery. The only alternative they had was something called a neoadjuvant approach. And she decided to sign on for it. I was out in California. I had an opportunity to be with her. And I said, hey, Beth, how about if we do a session just to kind of check in, see what needs to happen? Make sure you're all on board for the treatment that you're talking about. And we asked essentially the cancer, why is it there? What's it trying to do for her? And when she got the message, she immediately burst into tears, sobbing, heaving sobs, and said, it's right. It's right. So what did it say? It said, my life, I'm here to bring joy into the world, and I haven't. And it was true. Over a period of probably 5 years, a lot of stuff was going on in her life, and she was unhappy, very unhappy. And so we asked the cancer if she brought joy back into her life and started expressing it, would it be willing to leave? And it said yes. And then we asked, was this neoadjuvant approach the way to facilitate its departure? It said, yes, it is. So good to go, good to go. So she went into every chemotherapy treatment with this joyous attitude. She would bring helium balloons with the word healing, health, happiness, joy on it. She'd set it up, tie it onto the stand. She would write on the chemotherapy bag joy juice and put hearts on it, and like Masaru Emoto's messages, right? Positive messages on the chemical. She allowed it, welcomed it, brought it into her body, asked it to do the work, joyfully received it, put temporary tattoos on all of the workers in the oncology clinic. And it was really something. She had such a spectacular attitude, and she did return to joy. Now, there are 9 people that started that same approach at the same time for their cancers. And within 15 months, 8 of the 9 were dead. My sister Beth was the only one that lived. And 2 years later, cancer-free. Now, it's really interesting to see the statistics say that it was really unlikely that she would survive as long as she did. It was very unlikely that she would be in remission and not be able to find any cancer in her. And my brother, who brought her to all of her sessions, said, there's no question in my mind, but that her attitude, her state of joy was the difference that made the difference. So I want to suggest to you that whatever is happening for you and whatever prognosis you hope for, whatever you can envision, joyfully bring the passionate approach to having that occur into every cell of your body. I understand from time to time we can get down. We can feel ourselves, our energy drop, our doubts come in. We could wane in our enthusiasm for what's going on. Understood. Because sometimes it can be a long and arduous journey. But when you're down, indulge it and feel it for a good 35, 40 seconds, and then stop it. Get back to joy, because the medical testimony is in emotions make a difference. And this paraliminal of joy gives you an opportunity to really bathe in that sense of peace, that energy of joy, that recognition that this energy of your heart is the place where your self-healing will emerge from. So, all the best. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you soon.